Then, classify your subject into classes using lines to call stems. These classes will then be exemplified using stems to show examples. Let's try creating a nice. A lot of articles we found online identify the three kinds of activities that promote general wellness: physical, mental, and spiritual activities. Let me write those classes in our mind map. Looks great. We have to classify our subject. Now, it's time for us to simplify each class. Basically, we now have activities that promote general wellness for each class. First, let's simplify the first class: physical activities. What physical activities can you think of that promote general wellness? Well, the first thing that comes to mind is daily exercise. Hmm, I think getting enough sleep is another example as well, and so is eating a balanced meal on time. These seem like great examples for that. Let us now simplify our other two classes. We fill in mental and spiritual activities as well for your convenience. Under mental activities, we'll list in meditation, reading a page from a book daily, and keeping a journal. Under spiritual activities, we included daily prayer, scripture reading, and attending church. Our mind map was great. I think we're ready for step three: write your paragraphs. Now that we have our mind map, we may start constructing our paragraphs. Here is a simple outline to help us construct a paragraph for a classification and a simple statement, but only for one paragraph. The topic sentence contains the main idea or controlling idea of your paragraph. For this particular, your topic sentences are based on the experience. Physical activities promote general wellness during, in our case, we exemplified three physical activities: daily exercise, getting enough sleep, and eating a balanced meal. We will write a sentence or two explaining each of these physical activities. We may consult sources such as books, websites, articles, and other private sources for supporting sentences. For daily exercise is a beneficial example of physical activity. It helps control weight, reduces the risk of heart disease, and strengthens the bones and muscles. We found these facts from Korea State Photo. We include the author and the year it was published at the end of our second paragraph. It's now time to write a concluding sentence. A concluding sentence is located at the conclusion or at the end of the paragraph. Its purpose is to summarize the ideas within this section is to mention the examples discussed and their connection to our topic. For example, since we discussed daily exercise, getting enough sleep, and eating a balanced meal in our examples, our concluding sentence will look something like this: daily exercise, enough sleep, and a balanced diet are beneficial physical activities that promote general wellness during the pandemic. Let's add this to our existing paragraph. Now, we have our topic sentence, followed by our supporting sentences. And finally, our concluding sentence. Boom! We are done with our paragraph. Make sure to do the same thing with the last two classes. I got it. Thank you so much for your help. I'm going to say for mental and spiritual activities. Thank you. Yes, Dad. Can you put some rice in the groceries later? Sure, Dad. But I have one more effort to do it. Example what? The comparison and contrast method. Good luck, Ben. Don't forget to wear your face mask and face shield. That's so, Dad. What a face. It's just that I hated wearing masks and face shield for so long, especially during this hot weather. It could be uncomfortable, but hey, we'll keep it safe. I know. I just missed the day when we didn't have to wear masks. This year because of the pandemic. Or have a little class in a classroom. I know. On change since the pandemic started. Comparison and contrast explore the comparison and contrast elements or ideas that are different. And a good comparison and contrast essay is to connect in a meaningful and relevant way. Just like how we choose subjects in our previous since we are talking about the subjects are life before the versus the STEM threat. Traditional versus adaptation. Cloth mask versus surgical mask. These are great subjects to explore and as comparatives, you may use them accordingly. We are now ready for step two. Create a Venn diagram. Now we have chosen a Venn diagram as a unit of similarity differences for the written on these remaining spaces. Go ahead and try it. Brainstorm using information you already know, like observations and personal experiences. We may also look for more examples from printed and online sources. Let us now label the first circle life before the pandemic. Then the second circle life during the pandemic. Okay, let's fill these in. Before the pandemic, we don't wear masks. Now, we couldn't go out without a mask and a face shield. Before the pandemic, we had face-to-face classes. Now, similarities. We use social media before and during the pandemic, even more so during the pandemic. Brainstorm or research additional information to fill up the Venn diagram with as much ideas as you can. Now that we have filled your Venn diagram from a brainstorming session, it is now time for step three. Structure your approach. A common structure for a comparison and contrast essay is through a point-by-point system. The point-by-point system classifies similarities and differences by topics or points. We may identify these points in our Venn diagram and reward them for organization. For example, an obvious point of comparison and contrast from our subject is travel. We may dedicate a paragraph comparing and contrasting travel before and after the pandemic. Another principle of a point is communication. Hello? We need to dedicate another paragraph comparing and contrasting ways of communication before and after pandemic. Education could be another point. Before pandemic, we used to have face-to-face classes. Now, we use modules and some attend online classes. Let's dedicate another paragraph for education. Based on the points we have identified, we now have a plan for three paragraphs. Paragraph one is about travel before and during the pandemic. Paragraph 2 is about communication before and during the pandemic. And paragraph 3, education before and after the pandemic. This looks like a good plan. Now that we have decided on an approach, we are ready to step 4, write per paragraph. Writing a comparison and contrast paragraph follows the same structure as a classification, a topic sentence, followed by a sufficient number of supporting sentences. Then, a concluding sentence at the end. Let's discuss these sentences one by one. Your topic sentence should be based on the point you are discussing in the paragraph. For example, if I am writing about my first point, which is education, my topic sentence would look like this. Education is another point that has changed dramatically during the pandemic. Your supporting sentences are examples of similarities and differences being listed based on the point for the paragraph. Since I am focusing more on how education changed, I would write a few examples of how education has changed since the pandemic. Before the pandemic, classes are held face to face inside a classroom. Now, classes are held online. Here is another supporting sentence. Before the pandemic, students interact with teachers in real time. Then they ask questions and will get immediate feedback. Now, since interactions are online, responses may be delayed or may not exist. Let's now add a similarity. Despite these changes, students are still expected to be committed to their studies. Our last sentence is the concluding sentence, which summarizes the points you made in your paragraph. For a paragraph, these new approaches to education have definitely changed how students and teachers interact. There you go. This summarizes our paragraph nicely. This very entire paragraph with a topic sentence, supporting sentences, and a concluding sentence. Wow, a lot of changed together. I'm just going to finish studying in the classroom or watching a movie in the theater. Same here. However, this is our journal now. We have to remain optimistic and positive while getting used to it. I will. I think it's enough to finish with the comparison and contrast lesson. Thank you so much. Anytime, Kim. I'm happy to help. Just remember, keep reading because a reader is a leader. Keep writing and you can change the world. Keep being awesome. I'll see you next time in reading and writing skills. Bye.
Citizen Broadcasting Service, 1278 BGRN Radio Magazine.
Makinig at natuto sa Asikliturang Philippines. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat at welcome sa episode 1, Classes sa Filipino ng knowledge. Ang tekniko na buong kaagapay sa pagtakas sa mga aralin, sa komunikasyon at pananaliksik, serbisyo at kulturang Pilipino. Bago tayo nagsimula, hayaan niyong batiin at paunlakan ko kayo sa pagbubukas ng taong pangkanuan 2020-2021. Sa ating timeline, na ang bakasyon natin sa kasultuyan ang iba at napangkain. Ang dati nating nakasanayan na face-to-face learning sessions ay hindi nila maaari dahil nga naganta ng COVID-19. Sa kabila nito, nananatiling matatag ang pananalig ng Department of Education sa pagpapatuloy ng edukasyon at pag-aaral ng lahat ng mag-aaral na Pilipino. Anuman ang sitwasyon sa lahat ng pagkakataon. Kaya naman, takpan natin mo ang handang ng module 2010 dahil bagong araw na tunod sa naman ang ating pagsasamahin. Ang ating turang komunikasyon at pananaliksik sa wika at kulturang Pilipino ay isa sa mga core subjects ng senior high school. Ang kursong ito ay nakatuon sa pag-aaral tungo sa pananaliksik ukol sa kalikasan, katalian, pag-unlad at paggamit ng wikang Pilipino sa mga sitwasyong komunikatibo at kultural ng Pilipino. Ngayon batid na ang kalikasan ng ating kurso, ating nasimulan ang talakayan. Sa inyong palagay, ano-ano ang palatandaan na malaya ng isang bansa? Ano-ano